Hello students. The next topic of the anterior abdominal wall which I am going to take today is the inguinal canal. Okay. Now in the diagram I will show you where is the inguinal canal. I have already uploaded inguinal ligament in my previous video. So this is inguinal ligament. It extends from the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. This you can see in the diagram. This is your inguinal ligament. And this is a thickened band line which is formed from the aponeurosis of external oblique muscle. This I have already explained. Now I am taking deep and superficial inguinal canal. This is your deep inguinal canal. This is superficial inguinal canal ring, and this is your inguinal canal. So this is your deep inguinal ring, this is your superficial inguinal ring, and this is your inguinal canal. This inguinal canal is present just above the medial half of the inguinal ligament. It is parallel to the medial half of the inguinal ligament. This I have already taught you when I did inguinal ligament. I have explained it that the medial half of the inguinal ligament, it forms the floor of the inguinal canal. So this inguinal canal, what is the definition of the inguinal canal? It's a passage, it's a tunnel. This tunnel is present in the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall, and this is musculo-aponeurotic passage. Okay, musculo-aponeurotic passage or intermuscular passage. Intermuscular, it is going through and through. So it is intermuscular passage or musculo-aponeurotic passage which is present in the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall. In the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall. This inguinal canal is just above or parallel to the medial half of the inguinal ligament. Okay, so this is your inguinal canal. Now if you see in the diagram, the extent of the inguinal canal is from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. This is your deep inguinal ring and this is your superficial inguinal ring. In the diagram only you can see the shape of the inguinal ring. The deep inguinal ring is here. This deep inguinal ring is oval in shape. You can see here it is oval in shape, and the superficial inguinal ring is somewhat triangular in shape. Okay, this is triangular in shape. So this is deep and this is superficial. As the name suggests, the deep would be little bit deep. It will be in the deeper layers. The ring would be in deeper layers, and superficial would be superficial towards the skin part. Now the inguinal canal, the other features are, it is directed downwards, forwards and medially. This is the direction, downwards, forwards and medially. And the length of the inguinal canal is 4 centimeter. It's a short canal. It is just 4 centimeter or 1.5 inches in length. Okay, so that is the length of the inguinal canal. Okay. And the important purpose of this canal is for the descent of the testes in males. As you know, as the male child is born, there is descent of the testes. The testes is an abdominal content, and as soon as the child is born, the testes descends into the scrotum. So this descent of this testes into the scrotum, it takes via this canal. Okay. So what I have told till now, inguinal canal, it's an intermuscular or musculo-aponeurotic passage in the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall. This inguinal canal is just above the medial half of the inguinal ligament or parallel to the inguinal ligament. Okay, the medial half of the inguinal ligament. It is 4 centimeter long or 1.5 inches in length. The direction is directed downwards, forwards and medially. It extends from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. Okay, now this much you remember. Now we'll see what is deep inguinal ring, where it is present, superficial inguinal ring, where it is present. You can see the other diagram of the inguinal canal as well. See, this is the inguinal canal, this is the pubic crest, this is the linea alba, this is muscles of internal oblique muscle fibers. Okay, this is anterior superior iliac spine, this is your inguinal ligament, this is tubercle, pubic crest, okay, spermatic cord. Okay, now we'll take the inguinal rings. What is the differentiating points? Now the deep inguinal ring is an inlet while the superficial inguinal ring is an outlet. So the structures it pass from the deep inguinal ring and it comes out through the superficial inguinal ring. The shape of the deep is oval and shape of the superficial is triangular. That also I have explained. Now next we'll see is the layer of the anterior abdominal wall, in which layer is the deep inguinal ring present and in which layer the superficial inguinal ring is present. Now the deep inguinal ring is present in fascia transversalis and the superficial inguinal ring is present in aponeurosis of external oblique. Now if you remember the layers of the anterior abdominal wall, I have already explained the skin, the superficial fascia, external oblique, then the internal oblique, then comes transversus abdominis, transversalis fascia, then extraperitoneal, parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum and mesenteries. So these are the layers of the anterior abdominal wall. Now the deep inguinal ring is present deep here and this is an oval ring which is present in the transversalis fascia. Sorry, not about this. Transversalis fascia here. Okay, and the superficial inguinal ring is a triangular ring which is present in the external oblique aponeurosis. So this is superficial and this is deep. So whatever, if you take the boundaries of the inguinal ring, whatever is above the external oblique would be the anterior wall and whatever is below the transversalis fascia would be its posterior wall. Yes, so this is external oblique muscle, aponeurosis is your superficial and transversalis fascia would be your deep. Now where is the location of the deep and the superficial inguinal ring? Now if you take this diagram, you can, this is an oval opening which is present in fascia transversalis and this is triangular opening which is present in external oblique aponeurosis. Now this is the inlet, this is the outlet. So structures enters here and comes out. Okay. Now the deep inguinal ring, you can see here it is present just above the mid inguinal point. So the deep inguinal ring would be just 1.2 centimeter above the mid inguinal point and the superficial inguinal ring would be above the pubic crest. Now if you remember, pubic symphysis is tubercle and here would be the pubic crest. So it is above the pubic crest. Okay, so if you see in the diagram, the deep inguinal ring, it is 1.25 centimeter above the mid inguinal point. Now what is the mid inguinal point? Midpoint of inguinal ligament, that is between anterior superior iliac spine and the pubic symphysis. This is your mid inguinal point. This is your pubic symphysis, yes, and this is your anterior superior iliac spine. So the midpoint of this level, this, when you join this, the midpoint is your mid inguinal point. So 1.25 centimeter above the mid inguinal point is your deep inguinal ring. Superficial is above the pubic crest. Okay, this is your pubic tubercle. Above the pubic crest would be your deep superficial inguinal ring. Okay, so these are the points which you have to remember in superficial and deep inguinal ring. This is very important topic to understand. Now we'll take the boundaries of the inguinal canal. What are the boundaries of the inguinal canal? we'll have anterior, we'll have posterior, we'll have medial, we'll have lateral, okay, and the roof and the floor. So what would be the anterior wall? I have told you anterior wall would be all the structures which are present just above the external oblique aponeurosis. The anterior wall of the inguinal canal would be skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, okay, and aponeurosis of external oblique. So that will form the anterior wall of the inguinal canal. So whatever is present above the external oblique aponeurosis, the skin, the superficial fascia, then this deep fascia, then external oblique aponeurosis, this will form the anterior wall. The posterior wall would be what are the presence below the transversalis fascia, that is extraperitoneal fascia, parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum, and the mesenteries. So that will be the posterior wall of the inguinal canal. The medial 2/3, that is the medial part, is the superficial inguinal ring, the conjoint tendon, and the reflected part of the inguinal ligament. So medially would be what? It will be present medially, the superficial inguinal ring, okay, then the conjoint tendon would be present medially, the reflected part of the inguinal ligament from the lateral crest of the superficial inguinal ring, that would be present the medial relation of the inguinal canal. So if you take the reflected part of the inguinal ligament, you can see here it is pinkish in color here. It is arising from the superficial inguinal ring. If you see, this is triangular part, this is the superficial inguinal ring. So what is present medially to this inguinal, that is inguinal canal, is the superficial inguinal ring, which is present medially, which is a triangular opening present in the aponeurosis of external oblique. The other is the conjoint tendon, which I have already shown you, and the other is the reflected part of the inguinal ligament, which arises from the left crus of the lateral crus of the superficial inguinal ring. This I have already taught you in inguinal ligament. So these are the things which is present in the medial side of the inguinal canal. On the lateral side would be what? Lateral side would be the deep inguinal ring. So the deep inguinal ring which present on the lateral side of the inguinal canal, and the fascia transversalis. So this would be present in the lateral one. Now the roof of the inguinal canal, the roof is formed by the internal oblique aponeurosis and transversus abdominis muscle. So the roof would be formed by internal oblique aponeurosis and transversus abdominis muscle. Okay. So that is the roof. And the floor of the inguinal canal would be formed by the medial half of the inguinal ligament and also the lacunal ligament. The canal is resting on the inguinal ligament. Now if you see, this is your lacunar ligament. Okay, so here is the lacunar ligament that I have also taught you in inguinal ligament. So the floor is formed by the medial half of the inguinal ligament, also the lacunar ligament. The canal is resting on the inguinal ligament. So these are the boundaries of the inguinal canal. You see the anterior boundary is formed by the skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, and external oblique aponeurosis. Okay, anterior boundary, anterior wall. Posterior wall is fascia transversalis, extraperitoneal fascia, then visceral peritoneum, parietal peritoneum, and then the mesenteries. Okay, medially it would be superficial inguinal ring, the reflected part of the inguinal ligament. Okay, and also conjoint tendon. It will be in the medial side of the inguinal canal. The lateral side of the inguinal canal would be the deep inguinal ring. okay, and also an opening in the fascia transversa. So that would be the lateral part of the inguinal canal. Medially would be superficial inguinal ring, conjoint tendon, reflected part of inguinal ligament, and laterally would be the deep inguinal ring. The roof of the inguinal canal is formed by the arch fibers of internal oblique and transversus abdominis, okay, and the floor is formed by the medial half of the inguinal ligament, also the lacunar ligament, okay. So this was about the boundaries of the inguinal canal, okay. Now we'll see what are the structures, okay, what are the contents of the inguinal canal. This is very important. What are the structures which are present in the inguinal canal? What are the contents of the inguinal canal? The first content is the spermatic cord in males and the round ligament of uterus in females. It goes from deep inguinal ring through superficial inguinal ring. So spermatic cord with its covering, also the round ligament of uterus in females. So spermatic cord in males, round ligament of uterus in females is the content through this canal. What is present in the canal? It's a passage. So there has to be something inside. So first is the spermatic cord. Second is the ilioinguinal nerve, which enters the canal between external oblique and internal oblique aponeurosis muscle and passes out through the superficial inguinal ring. Ilioinguinal nerve I have also mentioned when I did cutaneous nerves of the anterior abdominal wall. This I have already mentioned. So ilioinguinal nerve, it passes between external and internal oblique aponeurosis and it leaves the canal through the superficial inguinal ring. The next important content is the remnants of processus vaginalis in females. Now processus vaginalis is a part of peritoneum, okay, which helps in descent of the part of the female through the inguinal canal. So that I will take in applied anatomy, okay. Also one artery to the round ligament of uterus in females, that is inferior epigastric artery. These are the contents of the inguinal canal. So this could be asked in your MCQs, this could be asked in your short note, this could be asked in your viva. What are the contents of the inguinal canal? So spermatic cord in males, round ligament of uterus in females, ilioinguinal nerve, remnants of processus vaginalis and artery to round ligament in females. That is the branch of inferior epigastric artery. These are the contents which are present in the inguinal canal. Now, what is the constituents of spermatic cord? We have seen that this is spermatic cord which is present in the inguinal canal. But what is present in this cord? What are the constituents which are present in this cord? So, the constituents of spermatic cord are the tube. In males, that is ductus deferens and vas deferens, that carries the spermatozoa formed in the testis to the male excretory passages. So tubes are present in the spermatic cord. The embryonic structure, that is the remains of the processus vaginalis, okay, outpouching of the parietal peritoneum. So that is also present. The third are the arteries, testicular, cremasteric and artery of ductus deferens. These are present in the spermatic cord. The veins, this is known as pampiniform plexus of veins. This veins which drains the testis and epididymis, okay, they are present around the ductus deferens, okay. So they form pampiniform plexus, and this pampiniform plexus, it forms the constituents of the spermatic cord. And last is the lymph vessels. So what are the contents of inguinal canal? Spermatic cord in males, round ligament of uterus in females, ilioinguinal nerve, remnants of processus vaginalis in females, and artery to round ligament in females, which is a branch of inferior epigastric artery. Now what does spermatic cord contains? The tube, that is ductus deferens or vas deferens, okay. Embryonic structure, that is remnants of processus vaginalis. Arteries, it contains testicular, cremasteric and artery to ductus deferens. Veins, pampiniform plexus of veins, which is veins which drains from testis and epididymis and the lymph vessels. So these are the constituents of the spermatic cord. So spermatic cord is a content of inguinal canal. What does spermatic cord contains, that I have also told. And next is, what are the coverings of the spermatic cord? How the spermatic cord is covered? So it is internal spermatic fascia, cremasteric fascia and external spermatic fascia. The internal spermatic fascia, if you see the diagram, it comes from, it an extension from fascia transversalis. You can see here. So fascia transversalis, it extends down and it covers the testis. This is internal spermatic cord. This is a spermatic cord, and these are the coverings of the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord carries testes also. So this is internal spermatic fascia, which is a continuation of the fascia transversalis. Cremasteric fascia. Okay, this is cremasteric fascia. Okay, this cremasteric fascia, it comes from the cremaster muscle. Okay, and also from internal oblique muscle. So this cremasteric fascia, okay, it's an extension of the internal oblique muscle, and also it contains, it's an extension of cremasteric muscle. You know, cremaster muscle we have already done. It is seen in the form of loops, that is I have uploaded in my previous video. External spermatic fascia, it an extension. Okay, this is external spermatic fascia is an extension of the aponeurosis of the external oblique. Okay, so these are important things. Contents of inguinal canal, very very important. Spermatic cord, ilioinguinal nerve, processus vaginalis, artery to round ligament. What are the constituents? What does spermatic cord contains? Tube, embryonic structure, the arteries, which veins and the lymph vessel. And what is the covering of the spermatic cord? What is the covering? This cord, what are the coverings? So it is internal spermatic fascia, then cremasteric fascia and the external spermatic fascia. The internal, you can see blue, it is an extension of fascia transversalis. You can see this in orange color. It is an extension of the internal oblique aponeurosis and cremaster muscle. And the external spermatic fascia, which is in green color, is an extension of the aponeurosis of external oblique muscle. So this was about the coverings of the spermatic fascia. The clinical application of the inguinal canal I will take in my next video. Hope you understood the topic. Thank you.